Good afternoon. Started this a little later than I intended to, but I'm back. Back again. And after that amazing one view that you two got me last week for the podcast, I decided to do another one. Anyway, that was demonic and crazy. As you can see, I'm wearing my new Spider-Man shirt here, which I bought the other day. Rocking the Spider-Man. It was perfect because it was right there. I just changed out of my work shirt, and now I'm here. Welcome to Adam's Rambling Podcast. I will be finally doing the Scream 7 pitch that I have in my mind. I finally figured it out. Been a lot of stuff going on. I've been writing sketches and all this other stuff, so that's like sidetracked. And then I had an issue with my computer the other day. That was scary because it's like I hit the power button by mistake, and then it logged me out, and then I'm like, man, I don't think I've signed out in 6 months, and I forgot my password. So I'm like, okay, I'll set up a new password. That'll be easy enough. And then it said it accepted it, but then it asked for my old password, and then it kept flipping back around. I think I changed my password 2 or 3 times, and it still wouldn't sign me in. It just kept rotating right back. So I had to go to Best Buy, and they luckily figured it out. They did a thing called a power wash, which they kind of just reset it like when you first get the computer. And and luckily that brought everything back, because I was like, my documents! I didn't know if I was like totally screwed or what, but luckily I'm not, because I'm here, standing here with you, wonderful people out there. That was the thing. But before I did that, I called U.S. tech support. Let me rant about that for a minute. Several years ago for my PC, I had used U.S. tech support. I think it cost me like $50 or something like that. And they just kind of did something on my computer, and they shut it down, and they kind of work on it and fix it and all that stuff. And it seemed like they actually fixed the issue the first time they did it. I wasn't as pleased with them the second time they did something. It didn't feel like they were able to figure it out or fix it. They were very nice, those people that I talked to at least. That was many, many years ago, and I haven't really, since I don't use my PC all that much, it's still there. I use it occasionally, but most of my stuff is just on a laptop now. I'm thinking, okay, I'll just call them and just see if they can help me figure this out problem. And the first guy was very friendly and said, oh yeah, we can definitely help you with that. Let me just tell you about what they do and da-da-da. And then it was going fine. We're having a friendly conversation. He asked me a couple questions and things like that. And then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, and so for a 3-year plan, that's like $576. I'm like, what? So you were prepared to pay that money today? I'm like, no. I literally needed you for like one day to figure one thing out. This isn't like I need a whole contract. And he just kept going back. He's like, oh, well, what if we did 400? What if we did 300? What if we did 1? I'm like, or maybe I could just hang up the phone. And I was reading reviews online, just like a lot of people have not been really, it feels like they're just trying to sell you a package half the time. Half the time they don't even fix the damn problem, or they make it worse, or they continue to charge you even if you, don't want the service anymore. So stay away from U.S. tech support, guys. They're evil. They're just trying to sell crap to you. But Best Buy, very helpful. I forgot the guy's name. He was very nice. Like when I first told him it wasn't my old password, he's like, oh shit. I'm like, oh god. So I thought I was going to lose it all. But like 10 minutes, we just did the power wash. Everything was back. So thank you, Best Buy, Geek Squad, for your help with that. Because man, I was just freaking out. You could ask Anna. I was screaming and it's like, what the hell? Because I had come home ready to write a sketch, and like I had everything in my mind, and then it was just like all I did was bump a button, and then I could not get in my laptop. I had the files on here too, but like it was just like so frustrating. It was just like so simple. All I needed to do was freaking sign in, and then I'd be good. There wasn't anything lost. I didn't lose any files. I didn't lose any memory or anything like that. Or videos or anything like that. So it was just incredibly frustrating. It just made for a frustrating previous day, and then luckily yesterday it all panned out. So Anna's going to get her phone worked on because she's got a cracked screen and she's been dealing with it for a while. So she's going to do that now. We're celebrating her birthday tomorrow, so I got her some flowers and stuff today, like a good husband does, and a card and stuff like that. So, and some chocolates and a nice outfit and stuff, which I may have accidentally bought in the wrong section, but we'll figure that out later. So anyway, for those of you who are new here, welcome to Adam's Rambling Podcast. This is kind of what I do. I ramble. But I actually have some specific things. I watched some more things. as I do a lot, I watch things. Before I get to that, let's talk about Superman Legacy, because there's been a lot of casting news. Obviously, a lot of things won't be coming out for a while because of the strike that now is including actors. So we got actors and writers. UPS people are striking. The strikes are going everywhere, guys. As an actor, I'm non-union myself, so it doesn't really affect me any. But I support the strike because a lot of these CEOs are just trying to screw people over. And, I don't think that, actors need millions of dollars either. Just like I don't think professional athletes need millions of dollars to do a thing. At the same time, CEOs don't need to sit there and make all the money and, cut people out. It's just because in other ways, it's just like being any other job. If you have a union, and you should be fighting for your rights. So yeah, I support the support that. But I will say on the other side of things, and not the CEO side of things, but there is a tendency I notice with unions where there's kind of like this very like, you better be with us or else type of thing. And I don't like that aspect of it. I'll say that much. Like, as an actor, I support them, but like, I don't like kind of like, it feels very much like, better not cross us, and it's like, well, what the hell? But like, I support it, but like at the same time, guys, let's not be rude about it. Be rude to the CEOs all you want, the CEOs and these conglomerate corporations, but please fight the power, especially for the actors who are just trying to catch a damn break. But I've never done I live in the Seattle area. There's not a lot of union theaters here, so it's not really it's not like LA or Chicago or New York where it might actually be worth it to try to get a SAG membership or something like that. But like, but yeah, it's so for me. It's like I just do whatever I want. But I know me and Anna, we had an actor who was with the union that we tried to cast for one of our plays, and we didn't know all the steps you had to go through. And Anna spent all this time back and forth. It was very stressful, just trying to get things cleared and weighing how much we could have her for and how much, in terms of time and rehearsal. And it was a big freaking headache. And then after filling all this stuff out for them and all that, they just kind of jacked us around, and then we ended up having to just recast the part. And the girl, the actress was very nice and totally understood and says, I feel like I'm holding you guys up, So it was all good. It all worked out, and the girl who took over was the woman who took over was excellent in the part and picked up right away. So, but it was just, so there's that. So there's been some, there's times where it's like it's good to have it. It's better to have a union because you get someone to really fight for it. But there can also be some negatives there too, of people like, because we're not a 501c, which we'd like to become, but like we're not a 501c. We don't have corporations funding us. We're just we're a sketch and improv group that occasionally writes plays and puts plays on, when we can. We haven't done it in a few years since the pandemic, but, that's just kind of who we are. So, drink some Sprite. Also not a sponsor. Yeah, but, so yeah, I support the writers and the actors and all that. Although I have to say, I did make a little wise and harmony remark. There was apparently one of the writers from She-Hulk, which some of you guys have heard my thoughts on She-Hulk. I thought it was okay at moments, but it did feel like some of the writing was subpar, and just too much relying on the troll thing. It's like, we get it. But like, it's too much of beating a dead horse with the same joke over and over again. But this writer's like, I only made $346, and I'm like, the part of me was just like, hey, you didn't deserve to make that, but which I know it's just a joke. I'm sure they definitely deserved that money. Maybe the CGI people had been given more time to work on it. The CGI would have looked better. But hey, that's a whole nother issue there. But yeah, so that's a big thing. But anyway, back to Superman Legacy, which is what I was talking about. So James Gunn has announced some casting and stuff like that for the last couple of weeks. It sounds pretty interesting. I know he did the casting for Creature Commandos. I know Frank Grillo's doing a voice. I'm trying to, and I think there's someone else I know that's doing a voice. I forget what the characters are. Like, I've never even heard of Creature Commandos, honestly. But I guess it's gonna be anime, but then they'll appear in live action. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there. I guess we'll call them the Snyder fans. I've said before, I enjoyed the Snyder Cut very much. It was much, much better than what we had from Joss Whedon. And I even say, like, Man of Steel wasn't too bad. I loved Wonder Woman. And Aquaman wasn't that bad. The Flash I've already talked about recently. But, yeah. And I admit that the Batman vs. Superman director's cut was a lot better than the initial one. It filled in some of the holes. Still not perfect. Still some issues, definitely. But it was definitely, yeah. So, and I'm even for, like, hey, like, sell it to Netflix and let them do that thing. That's fine. I got no problem with that. But at the same time, this constant, like, barrage of just people who are just so upset about Henry Cavill not being Superman anymore, or, like, these other people are, like, with James Gunn's plan and all that stuff. And they're not even, like, giving it a chance. They're just like, oh, yeah, okay, James Gunn saying Flash is one of the best Superman movies he'd ever seen. Well, you know, he's working for the company, guys. He's going to have to say that. He's getting paid the big bucks to do this stuff, guys. I mean, if you're working for certain people. Yeah, I know, it's so great. And like I said, the movie itself was okay. Like I said before, Ezra Miller was... but it was cool to see Michael Keaton, and there were some good moments in it. CGI was a little weird, but that's been a constant problem lately. I think that's definitely people who need to get paid better and treated better schedule-wise as CGI people. Although at the same time, practical effects are a thing, guys. Maybe think about that, Hollywood. Maybe think about that. The original Thing. Well, not the original, but the remake Thing of the 80s, basically. But practical effects, all practical effects, and it looked freaking awesome. So they need to get back to practical effects more. CGI is great when it's done right and done well, but it can be overboard, as you've seen, especially when something's rushed. But the thing is, for the Flash, though, it's like that should have looked better for as long as it took him to work on that film. For that CGI to still be that bad, that's not great. But like I said, I like James Gunn. I think the Guardians trilogy overall was a very solid trilogy. I really like the first one a lot. The third one was really powerful and good. Second one's still pretty solid. Of course, it's got Kurt Russell in there, so big Kurt Russell fan. If you didn't know, but yeah, I got Kurt Russell around here somewhere, don't I? Somewhere. What are my little toys here? Where are you, Kurt Russell? There he is. There's old Snake Plissken there, hanging out. What's up? Yes, I'm that type of nerd. I bought a Snake Plissken action figure. I think I showed that before, but anyway. But yeah, so I think there's a lot of negativity. A lot of it's from the Snyder fans, or people just don't like James Gunn for reasons, whatever. I don't know. But I think he's a good filmmaker, and I think he's come a long way as a filmmaker as well. Because he started out with trauma and stuff like that, so he's come a long way from that. I think he's grown as a filmmaker. And Peacemaker was great. I liked the Suicide Squad one. That was solid. So yeah, I really haven't been disappointed with anything. Is Superman Legacy going to be like aces and perfect? I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I'm not going to make a judgment call before I see a thing. That too many people do that. Like, oh, I don't like this casting. Oh, I don't like what they're doing here. No. They haven't even seen a goddamn trailer yet. Or they haven't seen the goddamn movie yet. And it's just like, there's too much of that goes around where it's like, well, I don't like this because da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, okay, well, good luck with that. Believe it or not, guys, sometimes you don't get what you want in life all the time. Unless you're a trust fund kid. But anyway. Sorry about that. Anyway. Moving on. So yeah, Superman Legacy. The guy I was thinking was going to get cast as Superman got cast. David Cornsweet. Let me see how his name is actually said, because I don't want to botch his man's name. Like I said, he was in Pearl. He was really good in that. I guess he's done some stuff with Ryan Murphy. I think it was some Hollywood show. I forget exactly what it was called. David. Yeah, Cornsweet. Okay, Cornsweet, whatever it is. Anyway, he is going to be our Clark Kent, and a woman from Marvelous Miss Maisel, Rachel Brosnan, is going to be our Lois Lane. Now, that was our first initial casting, but now we're going to have Mr. Terrific, who the only Mr. Terrific I'd seen was the one on Arrow, which was not the best version of Mr. Terrific. I'll admit that. Nothing against the actor. The actor was fine, but like it was just the character they had. The way they were doing the character was kind of CW'd. And that's gonna be played by the actor. I don't know his name offhand, but he was in. He's been in a lot of other things, but like the thing I remember specifically from is he was the. Damn, what's the name of the character now? X-Men First Class. Darwin. Yeah, he was Darwin. The guy who's not supposed to be able to be killed on anything that gets blown up. He's going to be Mr. Terrific, which I think it's a good casting. I think that'll be really good. And then we have Hot Girl. I don't know the actress on hand. I guess she was the live-action Dora the Explorer is who she was. That's what she's played in. She's kind of new, which is cool. But she's going to be Hawk Girl, so we're going to get Hawk Girl. And then we have Guy Gardner of Green Lantern, played by... Why am I forgetting everybody's name today? Because I've been up all day. That could be it. Why am I blanking on his name? Captain from Firefly. I'll just type in Firefly and then I'll remember his name after that. His name? Nathan Fillion, yeah. He's going to be playing Guy Gardner with the bowl cut and everything, which is awesome. And then we got casting for... What is his name? Oh my god. Ah! I'm not actually heavily caffeinated, believe it or not. Barry. Anthony Kerrigan, the bald man, No-Ho Hank, is going to be playing Metamorpho, I think his name is. And we just got casting the other day that John Mulaney is going to play Plastic Man. So, from looking on to things, Mr. Terrific, Plastic Man, Metamorpho, and another character named Phantom Girl form the Terrifics, which is sort of DC's kind of takeoff of the Fantastic Four. So it's interesting that James Gunn is kind of piecing. So all we have to get is a Phantom Girl. We've got our Fantastic Four in the DC before Marvel's even announced their shit. But yeah, I mean also to say, don't sleep on Secret Invasion, guys. I agree that it would be interesting if they had done it as a movie, or that the series was longer or something like that. But I think it's pretty good. I think they've done a good job with it. I like the villain. I think he's pretty good. And there's been a lot of twists here and there, which is pretty neat. So it's not as big full scale as I'm sure everybody will want, but it's a step up from, She-Hulk. I just got to go back to it. I have a friend who's a comedian, and I was on his podcast and all that a couple years ago, and he just will take shots at Avatar left and right, just like I'm taking shots. So it's kind of funny, he liked She-Hulk though, so, which is fine. I mean, like whatever you like. I have no problem with that. I just had some issues with it. I didn't hate it, but I think the Disney Plus shows have been kind of, I don't know. It's just, I really wanted them to be great, and I feel like they've been good, but there's been issues with filming being rushed and CGI issues and story issues and things like that. Like I said, WandaVision was solid. Low-key was solid. Falcon Winter Soldier had its good moments and some bad moments. I liked Hawkeye just fine. Moon Knight was pretty good. Miss Marvel was solid, but pacing was very slow and lack of villain. I forget any. Yeah, that should be everything. Yeah. So I think that was, I know there's been a lot of people that are just Marvel. I stopped watching after Endgame. I'm like, you're so you're the 20,000th person to fucking leave that comment on YouTube. You're original. I'm just wiry today, aren't I? But yeah, no, I'm just saying, I've heard that comment so many times. It's okay, great. Move along. The rest of us are still watching, so there you go. Bye-bye. Thanks for playing. I'm not saying there aren't flaws. I'm not saying there aren't movies that are flawed. I'm not saying there aren't things that could be better. And yeah, I'm not even saying we'll get to the heights at Endgame, or not at least until we get some damn X-Men. But, Deadpool 3 looks like it'll be fun. So that'd be cool. And Secret Wars could be fun. That should be solid. Let's get our Doctor Doom and our Fantastic Four set. That'd be great. But who knows when that's going to happen with the strike. So that's the other problem. It's like, when the hell are we going to get this shit? What else is going on? Oh, I mentioned that. Oh, the Marvels has their second trailer. I watched it. It looks decent. Looks like it'll be pretty fun. Yeah, Anna actually didn't want to watch the trailer because she's like, I feel like I get spoiled on every trailer now. And I just, I'm like, yeah, that's fair. I don't think there was too much spoilers in this one, so I'm like, I felt like I didn't see the whole movie at least. Like sometimes, especially with horror films, you notice that they will show you practically the entire film, and it's like, well, now I don't need to see this film. It's just like, stop doing that. Just like give us a glimpse. Like the first Nope trailer was just like a flash of lights and shit. Like you didn't know what the fuck it was. Just big Nope. I mean, that's smart. More people need to do that. Stop giving away all the fucking plots in the goddamn movie. Like, save some shit, man. Like, you know how nice it is to be surprised in the theater? Perfect example. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Whatever flaws you want to say about, Kevin Costner's British or lack of British accent, and Mary Elizabeth Mastronio's whiny, Marion, Robin! You can't deny Morgan Freeman's good. Kristen Slater's fine. I wouldn't recommend it's freaking excellent. But I will tell you, you will not have a bigger clap in the theater than when I was a kid when frickin' Sean Connery walks in at the wedding scene and says, "Hold!" And you just see Sean Connery walking in. That, we were just like, yeah! And, so that's moments like that. Because they never gave that away in the trailer. Like, and granted, nowadays with the internet, people probably just see, oh, he's in the movie. He's on IMDb, he's cast. But they need to do a better job of that. Because you give away all these moments, like, even with, like, No Way Home. Like, I love that movie. But, like, gave away Doc Ock being in there in the trailer. And we kind of guess, oh, Green Goblin's in it. It's like, don't give it away. It's better if it's a freaking surprise. Now, they were good about hiding this other Spider-Man. They never showed them in the trailer, at least. But still, it's like, don't give it away. It's so much better when you go to the theater and you're like, I'm psyched. And then this big surprise happens. You're like, oh, my God, Where you're just like, holy shit, they did it. Yeah, so, I mean, that's something I would definitely recommend. There's something besides all the pay stuff. Like, studios, stop giving away all the freaking movie in the trailer. Because, I might want to see your movie, but if you give it all away, why am I going to do it? Anyway, oh, yeah, and I also saw Kevin Smith was talking at a thing, and he was releasing some information about the second season. This time it's Masters Universe Revolution. He actually took a lot of, like, constructive criticism about the first season, somewhat, some of the complaints that people had. And it does sound like it is going to be focused more on He-Man this time and Skeletor and stuff like that, which is fine, because that's, I know I had some issues with the first half of it, but once I saw the second half and saw where it was going, I totally got on board with it. And I know some people were just meant to be angry all the time, so they didn't, but like I said, it set Tila up as the new sorceress. I thought it worked. And Tila finally got rid of that stupid haircut. So, it's like, stop having that stupid haircut. But yeah, cool information though. Keith David is going to be Hordak. He's going to voice Hordak. William Shatner's in there, and apparently he's going to share scenes with Mark Hamill. So you got Luke Skywalker and Captain Kirk talking to each other. That's freaking cool. So, and of course, I already announced that Meg Foster is going to be Motherboard, his character, who might technically be a Hordak Prime. Who knows? In disguise, hard to say. I know they had some voice cast changes. I think there's someone else voicing He-Man, and I'm pretty sure Sarah Michelle Gellar is not coming back to play Tila. I think it's going to be Alyssa Benzwa. I'm not sure how to say her name. Supergirl. She played Supergirl. I think she's coming in too, which is funny because her husband voiced He-Man last time. But I think both of those characters might have been replaced. But I don't know. That sounds pretty good. I guess probably won't be coming until 2024. But I'll watch it. I said I'm not happy to hear that they have canceled the He-Man live action film though. Once again, we've had like 20 freaking Transformers movies and have a whole bunch of Ninja Turtles movies, which I enjoyed some of them. But G.I. Joe, we got Barbie coming out. Outside of Thundercats, make a live action film. It's like, let me tell you guys, you want to see a live action He-Man film? Watch The Beastmaster. He literally is a muscular guy with a sword. He has animal friends. One of them is a tiger, Cringer. One of them is an eagle. That's pretty much a sorceress. He has ferrets, which I'm not sure what character that would fit in. But, like, he fights a guy with literal skull necklaces, Skeletor, who's got some witches, Evil Lynn. And then there's kind of a redhead, Tanya Roberts character. There's Tila right there. John Amos could pretty much be Man of Arms. You know, he has a king that's his father. I mean, it's like there's some differences obviously, and there's nudity and stuff. But the Eagle people, which are one of the coolest. You know, I think they were called something else, but it's a creepy scene. But yeah, Beastmaster's kind of cheesy. I fully admit that. But I love it. I grew up with it with my father. And funny thing is, I watched that film and I watched the Dolph Lundgren one, which is still fun. It's fun to look at it and, some of the silliness of it. But, like, you look at that and you're just like, you could have just done this, but with, more kid-oriented, without the nudity and things like that. But, there's template right there for you. First Beastmaster. There you go. That it's basically live-action He-Man right there, guys. Just take some of the notes of that, mix it in. There's your live-action He-Man. It's not hard. It's not hard. Now, as far as who do you get to play He-Man, I don't know. I'd probably go unknown. But I would definitely I would say unknown for He-Man, and then get someone who can play a really good villain for Skeletor. I am available. He-Man! With my Skeletor impersonation. There you go, Hollywood. Cast me whenever you guys get your shit together. So yeah, I'm on a roll here. So that's a lot of the Hollywoody casting news that I've seen as of yet, but I look forward to that. I bet it should be fun. We'll eventually get a live action movie. But there's my pitch for a live action right there. Just watch Beastmaster and, tweak a little bit, look at some of your comics and your TV show, and there you go. Piece of cake. Piece of cake, people. In fact, I have the complete series, guys. Just watch this and you'll have something. Just make it live action. That's all you gotta do. That's why I'm here. I don't know why I'm so, jazzed and energized today. I haven't had any caffeine since, 2 o'clock in the morning, so who knows? I'm just jazzed on that. Maybe I'm just excited for my wife's birthday. I like to make her happy and stuff. So anyway, enough of that emotional crap. I said I was going to talk about some things, guys. Yes, I did watch some things. I watched some things. Because I do that sometimes. So I watched 2 things. I actually went ahead and broke down. And through Amazon, I got a trial, which I'm just going to continue on anyway, for Shudder through Amazon. Because Anna has this account to Shudder, but it's not like a shared account, so I can't just watch whatever the hell I want. And she wasn't much interested in the slasher show that I've watched before, and Creepshow Season 2. She didn't like after the first couple episodes, she wasn't as hooked. So I, on the other hand, I wanted to see what they did with Slasher Season 4, because I'd seen the first 3, which I think are still on Netflix, I believe. And this one also had that guy who did The Fly. Oh my god, why am I, blanking on names today? Why am I not knowing names? My brain, maybe it's because I need to take a nap or something after this. I probably will. Let's see, Slasher. The new season too. I need to watch that as well. Flesh and Blood. Where are you? You're not showing me who I need to know. Let's tell me who is in this movie. Cronenberg, that's right. Now let me tell you, just to give a background of Slasher, I believe it's filmed in Canada. I think it's a Canadian-based show. So the first season actually had Lena Luthor, who played on Supergirl. She played Lena Luthor. She was kind of the final girl, I guess. And it kind of starts off basically with this family on Halloween. This man and wife were there, and this other person comes in a costume. You think it's his friend, and then he murders them. And then they're kind of figuring out. And each character, each slasher has some kind of name. I think the first one was the Executioner or something like that. And so we're figuring out this thing, and what they do is they kind of like, after someone gets killed a lot of times, they'll give sort of more like, here's a flashback scene of like, what an asshole this person was. Almost kind of like, yeah, they kind of had it coming. But they kind of did that with those people that got killed. Like, they were kind of like, I think they were kind of like, the wife would sleep with people and he would film or get off on it or something. It was really kind of creepy and twisted. But like, they've had a lot of recurring, much like American Horror Story, they had a lot of the same recurring actors. Mostly, like I said, Canadian talent. Occasionally they get, occasional name. Like Dean McDermott, who was Tori Spelling's husband, has been in a couple of them. So yeah, the first season, like I said, was kind of Halloween-y and set with this executioner guy and this, I think she's a news reporter, I believe. It's been a while since I've seen the first season. But like, she's trying to figure out this thing. Her father actually was the one that killed her parents. So this other guy you're trying to figure out, it's not him because he's he's been in jail. So yeah. Then there was the second season, and this was set at kind of like, it was sort of like a snow camp. It was almost like ski school or something, but we learned that like, it's sort of a two-way street because you have this group of people who are living in this community. It's sort of like, it's almost a ski resort, but it's not fully a ski resort. But they're surrounded by snow, and then you'll slowly find out backstories on them and what their issues are and things like that. But then you also have these teenagers who get, I forget how they end up there, but somehow, I think they met there or something like that, because what happened was they had basically accidentally killed this girl by leaving her in this cave or something like that, or they hit her with a rock or something. I forget exactly what happened, but so they're trying to cover it up, and then like, you're trying to figure out who's killing people off. And it turns out to be one of the women's sons got put away for it, and they blamed it on him. And so it was actually played by Leslie Hope, is the actress' name. She played Jack Bauer's wife that got killed in the first season. Spoilers, by the way. She's been in a lot of other things like Men at Work. So that was, kind of the thing, twist there. And then you see her talking to this guy this entire time, and you think he's there, and it turns out it's sort of like a version of her son or something like that. And so, but it's really twisted and weird. And yeah, they have a lot of different characters, and like I said, you get flashbacks into either how they're an awful character or just like something from their past that they're trying to keep hidden, just to give you kind of like, it's very much giving you some red herrings. A little bit like Scream in that sense, where you're kind of like, maybe this person's a little suspicious. So it's good like that. And the kills are pretty vicious too. Like they're definitely, they don't hold back. And then the third season was very like, it was set in this apartment building, and it had kind of almost a sort of patriotic tension, racial tensions thing. I think they saw the season of American Horror Story where they got all political and decided that works for us. But there was like a whole thing with this woman who like, she really like essentially cancel cultured somebody, and then everybody like kind of turned on her, and then she sets herself on fire. And then you slowly figure out like, people in the apartment are getting killed because they kind of shunned her and pushed her to this, Later on you find out it was the brother and sister, her kids, that were killing these people, and they were the killers. But it's funny, Dean McDermott plays like this total racist prick, and then there's a Muslim girl that's the main character, and so there's all this tension there. But it's this weird thing where he's also interacting with these two gay guys and stuff, and they're trying to help each other, but despite their tension. And it's interesting when they do that sometimes, where they put like these like totally unlikable characters together in a weird situation where they're having to help each other. And it's interesting to think about that. As society, how we treat each other. But yeah, that was solid. Thus far, before I watched season 4, of course, I would say that in terms of ranking, I would say I liked season 2 the best. I think I like the camp kind of aspect of it. And there are a lot of characters and stuff. First season's pretty solid. I'd say the third would be my least favorite right now. I just think, in terms of the killer and storyline, I thought that the first two were a little better. So let's talk about the fourth season, which is called Flesh and Blood. Otherwise, what I like to know, Succession, the horror version. Essentially, it is, because Our good buddy Cronenberg is this kind of basically almost Logan Roy. Fucking Logan Paul. Anyway, Logan Roy type character. He's very rich. He's got a couple, stuck up rich kids, and then he has like, various other relations there. Nieces and nephews and things like that, grandkids, all that stuff. So it kind of goes the same way, but like it starts off with like the first episode he gets killed off, and you're just like, wow, thanks for coming, Cronenberg. Granted, he pops up in flashbacks throughout the shows. It's interesting though, because I always see Cronenberg. When I think of Cronenberg, I always think of him in glasses and like kind of longer hair. But like in this one, he had like his hair was more buzzed a little bit, and he didn't have his glasses. So it was like he kind of looked like Malcolm McDowell a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's a weird look you're going for. But yeah, he's very Logan Roy like, and it's like he's kind of, but much worse, if you can believe that. In that he's very like he puts them through these kind of challenges. So like, oh, if you're going to be the new CEO or the new get all the money and all that, my will and all that, you're going to have to go through all these things and hang from a rope and shit. And yeah, so the interesting thing with this one, because all the other seasons had done this a little bit, is that they would have like things that from people's past that like made them kind of an asshole or something like that. But most of them, they were really going heavy on the, yeah, but these people also will kill people. Almost the majority, with the exception of a few characters, each one of them has either killed someone before, or has attempted to, or or would kill someone, and it's just like, who are you supposed to root for here? Are you supposed to be rooting for these people? Because it's interesting, they kind of turned on its head a little bit, which I guess in a way is kind of clever, but like, as opposed to like a Scream type thing, or I know we did last summer, where you're having like this final girl, and we like this final girl, we like the survivors. You don't really like the final girl that much either, because basically she's kind of born out of the son, who's technically gay, has an affair with the maid because she helps him out with something, because he doesn't like the stepmom much, but then like ends up pregnant and has this kind of secret child that Cronenberg says, oh, you just don't mention this, I'll pay for her education and all that stuff, but yeah, you can't don't ever mention that she's one of my that she's with this family. So yeah, it's weird how they play with that though. It's just like, because I think he was still kind of in the closet, his character, and it's interesting, this actor always I don't know for sure in every season, but like every season I've seen him in, he's usually playing a gay character. So I didn't look it up. I don't see anything specifically. Not that it matters, but I don't know if he himself is gay or not. It's just interesting that he's constantly cast as this type of character. But anyway, also at the same time, it's like bisexuality is a thing. Pansexuality is a thing. So sometimes people forget that when they write. It's like it's not just gay or straight. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, you kind of figure out things here and there. People get killed in vicious ways, and it comes down to basically like I'm trying to figure out. Just trying to remember this all in my head. It comes down to basically a couple. So we had this lost brother who shows up, who had gotten kidnapped or whatever, and it turns out that the maid who had slept with the brother, had sent him away because he was a bad, rotten piece of shit who would like try to set the girl on fire and shit, her daughter on fire and stuff. So she had arranged for him to be kidnapped, and then and then the other guy's like, yeah, get this guy out of here. This kid's in trouble. Get him out of here. So he's kind of on the edge the entire time. You're thinking maybe is he really the thing, But then it's weird because the three of them team up, the two brothers and the daughter of the maid, because everybody else is killed. And we're still trying to figure out who the hell the killer is. My suspicion the entire time, I'll fully admit, was that Cronenberg was going to end up not being dead. And that he was going to April Fool's them a little bit or something. That's what was my suspicion. That suspicion, unfortunately, was wrong. I would have actually enjoyed that more if he had been, because it would have been Cronenberg, and that would have been cool. But instead it was this, like, tall woman who was basically his doctor, who, like, poured this like weird acid thing that like melted his heart and shit. It was really weird. And then she fakes her death in a really stupid, contrived way, because like the daughter is trying to kill her for some reason, showing that she's nuts, and tries to put her in this wood chipper that just happens to be there. And so she kind of goes in there and falls into it. But then later on, you have a flat, and you think she's dead because you see all this blood. But it was actually this fisherman she killed earlier that she just threw him in there. But it's so contrived. Like they go to this flap section, and she's just kind of like ducking like this, and like I'm like, no, come on. How would she know that this person was gonna do? You know, it was a little contrived. Yeah. Now I will say the casting of the actress though was good because she was big and kind of intimidating looking. So it wasn't like, you know, some little. No offense to anybody. Not saying anyone can't be overpowered, but it's not like some little 5-foot girl. You know, I kicked you down. It's like, you know, she at least was believable. Like she looked like she would, you know, like a Nia Jax or something size woman or something like that. You know, it's like, where it's like, okay, I'm not saying she could beat up all these guys, but like, at least it was a little more believable. Like, okay, I can believe. But, and you know, I'm thinking like, okay, it's gonna come down to the kill her reveal. They reveal her right at the end of the next to last episode. So I'm like, okay, how's this gonna play out? And she starts talking about, I know all your secrets, and he gave all your secrets and all that. And we don't find out everybody's secrets yet. But then, like, the three of them are kind of teaming together, beating her up, and then, like, the one guy just goes nuts and starts strapping the shit out of her. The one troubled brother. And then you figure, okay, now they're going to try to, they have to dig through Cronenberg's body to find this, through his guts, and it's really gross scene. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. But then, like, just out of fucking nowhere, the brothers just, like, start going at each other, and then the other brother just chases him around and tries to kill him, and then he ends up cutting his head off in a really badly CGI'd thing. And it's just like, what the fuck happened? You guys were just fucking fine. You were fine. You were, like, hugging and loving brother, and now you're trying to just suddenly, I'm just gonna stab you. And what the fuck? Like, who wrote that shit? And then, you know, she does find the thing that she needs to find out of his guts. I forget exactly what it was. But it was basically saying that, yeah, you're in charge of this company now. So then the two cousins, because they are technically cousins, because, you know, he's, you know, the daughter, he's the son. This is really confusing, isn't it? All right, so he is the son of Cronenberg's daughter, and she is technically the daughter of his son. So obviously they are cousins. Now there's been this kind of tension between them because they kind of grew up around each other and stuff like that. You know, the tension between them before they knew they were cousins. So you would think logically that once you realize, oh God, we're kind of related, that's, yeah, we can't do it. No, instead they fucking fuck. And then, like, she's riding him, like, apparently they're in real life they're married, this couple, so I'm sure they had a great time. But, like, it's just, like, full-on sex. I'm just like, you guys remember you're technically cousins, so that's kind of gross, guys. But then afterwards, he's, like, kind of like, yeah, I think he admits his secret was that he had gotten drunk and crashed into a orphanage or something like that, or an adoption clinic or something, and then like a bunch of babies died, but then they paid it off, and he's like, well, you know, they was a poor neighborhood, so I felt, you know, so he's pretty much an asshole too. And then she was in the army, so she ends up choking him out, and then she ends up with the company and remodels the thing, and but like, so like everybody pretty much is an asshole. So yeah, I would say that like it was interesting and from a like Succession-y type of thing. And getting Cronenberg was cool, but yeah, it had me for a while, and then I don't know, that ending just, it felt like, well, we haven't killed off these characters yet, let's not have any kind of slightly happy ending. At least the other ones, there was at least some kind of an ending, somebody got to survive and move on with their life, you know. But like this one, it just felt like, nah, fuck you, now you're in charge of this company, and yeah. And then she just kind of stares off, and it's the ghosts of all the people that are dead smiling at her. So it's like, well, this is our survivor, and I mean, I understand why she did it, but because he was kind of like, oh, we got to get married, and I'll be in charge of the fortune, and you'll just kind of, you know, he was trying to do what Logan Roy's son would do, like, I'll be the CEO and you'll work for me, you know. Well, we're not going for that, man. Chivalry and having it. So yeah, it was. Oh God, it's almost 45 minutes. All right, that's okay. I'll get through this, guys. It's going to be a longer one, but oh well, whatever. Maybe it'll get 1 view too. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Anyway. So, overall, I thought it was solid. It was worth a watch. I'm going to watch the 5th one sometime this week. Slasher Ripper, I guess. It's supposed to be set in the 1900s, so it's got Eric McCormack from Will and Grace, so it's a name value, I guess. So that could be fun. We'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it's better. Well, I would say that I would put this in, I'd say this 3rd and 4th kind of neck and neck for last. First 2 seasons were much better, I think. It's interesting, though. The one woman in there, Paula, Bacanti or something like that, she's been in, I think she's been in all the seasons. I know she was definitely in season 2. She was actually one of the survivors in season 2. But, and I say this with the least amount of perverseness, but she's got some big ones. And there's several times where she's running through, and this is how it's balanced. I'm just like, damn. So, just getting out of the same. I'm half a married man, nothing perverse about it, just saying it's a slasher. Oh yeah, I forgot the character that I forgot to mention. They have her and the gay son, who she doesn't realize is gay, but she's married to him. They had this adopted, Russian daughter or something like that, who's they sort of do an orphan-y thing with them, where, she's pretending to be this child this whole time, but the actress is actually 25, and she's really just scamming them, but she's vicious, she actually, bites her freaking face off and shit, she's terrifying her or something. He goes freaking crazy. And the killer still kills her, it seemed kind of weird. I thought she was going to be the killer. I was like, oh, weird. Orphan. She's not really a kid. So she got, that poor Paula got ripped up there pretty good. Yeah, I thought the actress did a good job that played the orphan, though. I thought she was solid. That was the one thing I forgot about. Yeah, but that was a weird little twist there. I could kind of see it coming, there's something's not right on this girl, because she randomly start trying to eat things, and it's like, what are you doing? Yeah. So anyway, that was Slasher, Flesh and Bone. All right, let's talk about Creepshow Season 2. So, Anna and me had watched the first couple episodes. I'm going to pull this up just so I can remember all the episode titles and, some names that were in them. And I'll just go through each one and kind of what the premise was, so you guys have an idea. And then I might do a little slow, ranking-y thing of what I liked best. I wonder if we're going to get another season. I still have one more season to go. Alright, IMDb, here we are. Get to season 2. Episode guide. Yeah, throat starting to hurt. Doing all this talking. After this, guys, I will wrap up, I promise. Oh, there's actually supposed to be a 4th season. I don't know how it's going out, but... Okay, so... Click on these. The first 2 were Model Kid and Public Television of the Dead. Ah, yes. I'm trying to remember what that first one was even about. Yes. Oh, yes, Kevin Dillon, yes. Oh, the Model Kid. That one wasn't bad. He has, a model set with, classic monsters. And Kevin Dillon's in it, and he's a total dick. Yeah, his closest friends are the model toys of his favorite scary movie. I'll probably see you. She's overwhelmed. Yeah, I wish they'd give more information, though. Storyline. In Model Kid, an orphan boy uses his model collection to stop his abusive uncle. Yeah, Kevin Dillon's a total abusive asshole. That wasn't bad. It was kind of cool seeing the little monsters thing. Then Public Television of the Dead basically is a Evil Dead takeoff, but it's got one of the Raimis in it. Ted Raimi? Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty decent. It was fun. We watched that one first, and it was pretty solid. I liked both of those episodes just fine. Alright, what was the next one? Dead and Breakfast, Pesticide. I think these are the last 2 that me and Anna watched together. Okay, this one we had Allie Larcher, and C. Thomas Howell. See him forever. I remember they were running a Dead and Breakfast, right? That's what it was. Yeah, a marketing ploy at a haunted bed and breakfast becomes too realistic. Yeah, and it kind of backfires on them. And then the other one was called Pesticide. An exterminator gets more than he bargained for when he takes on a big job. I'm trying to remember who's in that job. Harlan King. Oh, Keith David was in that, yeah. That's right. I'm trying to remember that one. Oh, Ashley Lawrence from Hellraiser was in that as well. Yes. Yes. Bed breakfast. Spencer goes too far when trying to promote her home as winter house of her grandmother. Serial killer. Who was her first serial killer? Oh, yes, she's the first serial. Pesticide. Harlan King is hired by a mysterious man to exterminate a human infestation and finds himself on the wrong side of the fly swatter. Yeah, that was kind of weird. That wasn't bad. It's hard to remember now because it was a while that we watched it. Okay, now we'll go for the ones I've actually just watched. All right. So we have The Right Snuff. So this one had Breckenmeyer in it, and this other guy. I haven't seen things, and they're basically two astronauts, and they're in the future, and they're supposed to communicate with this alien race and all that. But the other guy is the son of some famous astronaut who landed on Mars and stuff like that. So he's, in the shadow of his dad, and he's constantly hearing his dad's voice saying, "You'll never measure up to me. You'll never be good enough." And then his partner, Ted, gets chosen to be this ambassador to talk to this alien race and communicate with them and come up with a thing. But he ends up, killing him, and suffocating him in this section. And then so he goes to meet the alien instead, and then the alien says, "You've killed our ambassador. Well, now we know we can't trust humans." So he basically destroys Earth, and he's stuck in space by himself. So, bad move, buddy. Bad move. All right, now the next one was quite good, I must say. Yeah, I really like the next one. It's Sibling Rivalry. Now this girl, Molly Ringwald is in this too. She's playing the principal or guidance counselor or something like that, Mrs. Porter. Maddie Nichols is her name. She starts this. She's great. Let me just say right now. She starts out this segment and she's telling this story of how her brother's trying to kill her. But she takes 20 minutes to get to the point of her brother trying to kill her. And just Molly Ringwald's reactions are just what the hell. And I'm not sure where it's going at first. I'm like, is he really trying to kill her? And you have these kind of sneaky things where he's watching her and he's kind of creepy. And she's got this friend. She says, this friend tried to kiss me that night. It was really weird. And then, as you find out, she finally sees her brother, and he says, "You don't remember what you did the other night? I remember having pancakes when I got home." It's like, oh, yeah, that wasn't pancakes that you ate. You actually ate her mom and dad because you're now a vampire. And so she's a vampire. And so it turns out that kiss that the girl was giving her was actually a bite on the neck. So her friend turned her into a vampire. And eventually the brother and her, joke around, and then she turns him because he says, "Yeah, we got to take her out." They chop her head off. And they kill Molly Ringwald at the end, basically. So, but it was fun. I liked the comedy in it. It was really good. It was very tongue-in-cheek. And, that Maddie Nichols, she's really good. I thought it was really funny. I highly recommend that episode. That was probably one of my favorites, actually. Then we have Piped Screams Within the Walls of Madness. All right. So, Piped Screams. What's that one? Oh, yes. A drain clog turns out to be more than just a little matted hair and soap scum. This one had horror legend Barbara Crampton, who you might remember from the what was she in? What was that? Reanimator. Yeah. She also, if you ever seen the movie Body Double, which by the way is a great Brian De Palma film, underrated by the way. She is actually the woman at the beginning that he walks in having sex with another guy. That was Barbara Crampton. So there you go. But she's like this rotten landlord or whatever, and there's some kind of gunk in the sewage and rundown. She's a slumlord basically. And this guy who's the plumber guy, he ends up trying to he's getting in this whole fight with this thing. It's trying to suck him down and tries to bite his rips his wrist off, and some kind of sludge monster type of thing. But it ends up they as a apartment say, we have to get rid of the problem, and of course it sucks her down and all that stuff. So that was pretty decent. It had some good comedy in it too, and she played a bitchy landlord quite well. And the Walls of Madness. What was that? Was that the one with the? Let me see. Yeah, Denise Crosby was in that one. Yeah, that was the one with the. That one was kind of weird. It was sort of like a interdimensional travel type thing, but like these monsters were breaking in and killing. But this guy's in prison. Only he's seeing them doing this. Yeah, that one was just okay. I probably my least favorite of the ones so far. I just kind of, I don't know, I was just kind of bored with them. Like, this feels like something's been done. And then, the hell? Go back. Season 2. There we go. And then Night of the Living Late Show. This one was pretty clever. It had Justin Lone in it. And I recognize the actress playing his wife. She was on Barry. She was the friend that was always treated badly by Sally. But he invents this kind of like, it's interesting because it's laid up like almost like a tanning bed, but like he hooks it up to like be able to be in like actually appear in movies and stuff and talk to his favorite stars. So he's obsessed with this movie Horror Express, which has Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing and stuff like that. I've actually seen the trailer for it on Shudder, so I've never actually seen it though. But there's like a monster in this thing. But he's just showing up and he's like marking out, and apparently he's madly in love with this character in the thing. And interestingly enough, the actress playing the reversion of the character was in the first VHS. She was the one that was kind of the what is it called? Oh my brain is like succubus. She was kind of the succubus character, the one that had her head split and was like, staring at the I like you. Yeah, she played it, and I'm like, hey, I know that girl. She was pretty good. But yeah, so then the wife finds out what's going on. She ends up going into the thing and seeing what's going on with it. And then this monster actually attacks her. And she actually able to get out because she presses the thumb button and gets out. But once she realizes that her husband's basically been having an affair in this movie with this person, she's like, I'm going to teach this some bitch. So he goes in there to do his thing, and she switches the movie to Night of the Living Dead. So now he's stuck in Night of the Living Dead. And then before he can get himself out, she chops his thumb off, so now he can't do it. And so he gets eaten alive by the zombies. So it's like, never go too far in your fantasy. So that was season 2. Like I said, my favorites were definitely... I like the Evil Dead one. That was fun. And I definitely enjoyed that one with the vampire. That was clever. I really enjoyed that one very much. The other ones weren't too bad. The one with Keith David's pretty good, and stuff like that. Like I said, my least favorite was the interdimensional travel one. And the space one was just okay. The CGI and the monster was kind of cheesy looking, but it's Shudder. They only have somewhat of a budget. So that wraps up, guys. Just under an hour here. Yay! Cool. This has been the podcast, episode 8, I believe. So we covered a lot here today, guys. And I'm sorry to talk for a whole hour. I'll still do the pitch, though. I'll take a little breather. I'll do the pitch. Get that screen pitch done before I take a nap. Because I definitely need one because my brain is Swiss cheese. But yeah, those are my reviews, guys. Check out Shudder if you don't have it. They got a lot of good movies on there. Excuse me. A lot of good movies on there. Horror movies and horror comedies and stuff like that. And a lot of series as well. And like I said, I'm going to try to watch season 3 of Creepshow as well. So I can come back with a review for that. Alright, guys. Have a good day. Like and subscribe.